Hi, my name's Sue Ellam and I'm a professional tarot reader and have been for 25 years. And I'm using the Mythic Tarot, which are based on Greek mythology.
And I'm Carrie Beleno. My life's work is about spiritual life coaching, how to help you become your healthiest and most prosperous, best, a lot of S's, in these times we live in right now. So I'm also an intuitive Reiki master and the keeper of the questions. And our questions are designed to hopefully help you move forward emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically. And Sue and I just got done having a conversation, and a private conversation, and it is not coincidental that I just picked this question. Why do bad things happen to good people?
Yeah. Not a coincidence at all.
And I use that in quotes, bad things and good people. I think I know the first card you're going to pick.
Is this it?
I don't. The topic of it, not the card.
Oh, I'm with you. Okay. As you say, bad things, I think they happen to wake us up because we're going in the wrong direction. And they happen so that we become aware of the love and support we have around us, that we can call on people, our friends, people in our community for help. And then another time, if say bad things are happening to them, they can call on us for help. So it's for us to realize we're not alone. We have a support system of loving and sharing around us if we just know where to look. And if we don't have one of those, this is a time to seek out that, even if it's a professional, an institution that deals with this kind of thing, or even if it's a phone line, like we have the Samaritans and things like that, there's always somebody that can help you to get through any bad times that you're going through. But I look at, when you say bad things, I look at them as obstacles, and obstacles are opportunities to learn. And with this, it's like, I'm not a great believer in, if there's one obstacle after the other, I'm not a great believer in, I've got to climb that mountain, I've got to get over this and that. I think if there's enough obstacles in your path, you're going in the wrong direction. And it's like the universe is altering your course by putting something in your way which is unpleasant to deal with, but it is a way of kind of putting you into the path that you're going to find much more happiness and fulfillment in. It's also to listen to what your inner voice is telling you as well. We really have to tune into our intuition, not listen to so much to what people are telling us, but listen to what our gut feeling is telling us. It's a time of meditation, a time of introspection. So it's a time to go within. So rather than trying to fix these, say, bad things so that you keep the status quo, that everything remains the same. So many times people will scramble around and they'll be desperate to try and keep the same life and deal with the obstacle and overcome it so that they can just move on the same path as they were on. This is not a time for that. It's a time to go within, to listen to what our intuition is telling us, and just maybe just some time out to ask what the lesson is from this situation. What have we learned from it? What are we meant to learn from it? And take it out of, as you said, the bad in quotes. Take it out of that kind of negative connotation and say, okay, how can I turn it around so this becomes a positive thing? I mean, we can talk about maybe somebody's husband or wife or something goes off, has an affair, and this is a bad thing, and so you're trying desperately to get your husband back or your wife back. You're trying to you're trying to send threatening emails or messages to the other party, and you can get all tied up with this is my husband, this is my wife. You have no right. And we get so tied up with trying to keep, we want to keep our marriage on track, because what will people think, and how embarrassing is it for me to have been, cheated on. So we're trying so hard to keep our marriage on track. But if we get the support of people around us that aren't going to be judgmental, but will just give you the hugs you need at this time, and listen to your inner voice and thinking, okay, what is so great about my marriage that I want it? Will I ever be able to trust that person again? And then when you really look at it, you can think, well, actually, we didn't do anything together anymore. We didn't really talk. We were just rattling around in this house, more like flatmates. And really, your spouse's actions really just made it real. The fact that actually your marriage wasn't working anymore, but it was just a shell, and it needs to be finished. So if you can just take that time, or sometimes when your partner, realize they made a mistake, they want to come back, then by looking at it and really talking about it, you might realize that you really both do love each other, but there was a lack of fulfillment within the relationship. So it means that the obstacle of lack of communication can be overcome. You can communicate, you can understand without judgment, without guilt and shame and blame and things, but realize there was something wrong that wasn't being fulfilling for either of you, really. And then you can work on it. Say, well, we really do value this relationship. We just went a bit off track. So let's fix it. So it gives you the tools to fix something that wasn't working, and it could work out to be much better in the future. So that's just an example. So rather panicking and running around like a headless chicken, just take some time out to look at the lessons that need to be learned from this. And then once you've made up your mind what you're going to do, it's like, this is being assertive. It's being very focused on a new path. This is, so say, the male attributes of being assertive and decisive and stuff, though there's plenty of women who've got those attributes as well. So this isn't a kind of a sexist thing, but it's being prepared to walk your talk. But you've got to be very clear what your path is first. You need to prepare ahead of time. Make sure that this is what I really want to do. And then when you're absolutely positive, then what you do is you say, okay, I'm walking my talk. This is my direction. Walk with me if you want, but don't get in my way because I'm going there anyway. So it is a really definite direction with power and with authority that you will be taking control, because you'll have had that time to listen to what your inner voice is telling you. You'll have had the support that you've needed at your weakest. You've now tuned into your intuition, you've tuned into your inner guidance, you've stopped listening to other people's opinions or input because you need to find your own way. And from that feeling of strength, now you can go and say, okay, I'm walking my talk, this is my direction, and I know why this happened and why it was necessary in some ways. And there's money, resources coming, and a lot of hard work ahead, but this is saying you will also get the support you need financially, materially, as well as you've started off with the support of people, but you'll get other support as well. Because once you're on the right path, and you've been prepared to change direction, you will get everything you need to make that direction successful, and things will start to flow. So those are the cards.
So I'd like to, as many of the metaphors and sayings that we have in humanity, most of them are false. There's not very many that I like. Or maybe a couple from Ben Franklin, but this is one of them. Why do bad things happen to good people? It's often a saying. You see it circulating. And I'm just going to bust through that. Don't say that anymore, because life happens to all of us. We are living life. And there's no judgment on who's good and who's gooder. People, to me, on a soul level, everyone is good. Everyone has they may be making really awful choices. They may not have the unity theory forefront, but we're all stuck in the same humanity bucket. And so the bad and the good are all judgments. So first thing we're going to do is just wipe out the judgment of it. I don't have much to add to Sue's take, because she was spot on with the ease and flow. If you are judging some things that continuously happen to you or to someone that you love as bad, it is an indicator that the direction has to change. It is an indicator that they are not taking care of themselves, or they are not taking care of their intentions or their vibration, their emotions. So be that help, be that rock for them, help them see the pattern. If it's you that these bad things keep happening to you, I totally agree. Take a look at the situations that you are in, take a look at the patterns that you keep repeating, take a look at the circumstances you're placing yourself in emotionally, energetically, and see what needs to change, because these are all indicators of things that need to change. Now, if we're talking about death, the bad thing being death, I'm just going to hold you gently and say, this is life. It's not right. It's not always fair. It doesn't always feel good. Grief is part of the experience that we signed up for. But it's important that you don't hold yourself in sorrow for being a victim, and try to see it as the ew, I'm getting another phrase that I can't stand, which is the circle of life. But that's what I'm hearing. But if we're talking about bad things like, loss of job and those very material things, then please take a step back and see where you are not going with the flow, and see where else you need to place yourself.
I'm just remembering, I've forgotten about this. Years ago, a friend of mine, she was on a spiritual path as well, and she passed away about 20 years ago now. But she used to get a bit moody at times and things, and I bought her something. It was something I just saw in a shop and just tickled me. It was a jar of sweets, but on the outside it said attitude adjusters. And she said that every time she was in a bad mood, she used to eat one of those sweets because she realized that she needed to change her attitude. It was, it just popped into my mind. Yeah. So,
Yep.
yeah, it's always looking, it's always kind of looking, taking responsibility, isn't it? You're taking responsibility. It's a bit like Ho'oponopono, you know, you take responsibility for whatever's in your life. And you'll never given more than you can actually physically cope with. And you have to just ask for help, and help will be given. I think the worst is when people feel they're totally alone and they have no one to go to, and that is the worst. Yeah.
So build tribes, people. Be a community. Start small. Work your way out. Find like-minded. But now is the time to support each other and build tribes and community.
Absolutely. And please subscribe, like, and share if you feel inclined to. That would be much appreciated. And it's bye from me.
We'll see you tomorrow.